All right, the time is 1:11, and we will move to our next, or we're gonna reconvene and move to our next budget hearing, which is for the assessor. That's page 12. Get all my notes here because I have 15 of these. Okay, we do have the updated expenditure thing that you
Yes, I do.
held. So, yeah. All right. So, Marilyn, we'll kick it off, and oh, Mike's not here yet, so I'll have to say it again. But I know I say this every year. It's not personal. It's definitely not personal. Typically, when we start the year and we have all the budgets in, we see like 1 million or 1.5 million in increased requests over last year from departments, and then we sort of try to whittle that back a little bit. This year we saw 4.5 million. So all in, the departments are requesting $4.5 million more this year than last year. So first and foremost, it's illegal. We can't do that. We literally cannot raise the budget that much. And then number two, as you know, we've worked really hard over the last couple of years to actually lower the levy to offset the rising valuation. So I know you know that, but I have to say it because I just want you to know that it is not personal. So anything that we do is
Well,
is
yeah,
because we have to.
I did come back and like lowered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines myself. So when I turned that in,
Well, I have the one that from the last time, and I have this one, so we can work through those.
you have the new one.
I do. Yeah, we all have
Okay.
we have copies of the new one. Yep.
Okay.
So we'll just start at the top like we have been with everyone else. So for officials and deputy salary, those are predetermined, and so we don't see anything there. Regular employee salary. It looks like that actually went up a little bit. Was there just an error in calculation?
What should it be?
Well, from the last time it showed 152,830, and now it says 153,101. I'm guessing it was just a calculation error thing.
Okay.
So if we can just clarify. That's what I have for the last updated sheets. Okay, so now we're 153, 101. Okay, so that was from the original. Got it. Okay. And then line 6 is our part-time line. And so it looks like we're asking for 17, almost $17,000 more this year. You want to walk us through that?
So I've always had some things budgeted in part time, and I always had an employee called Marla Ritter
Hey,
that
Marilyn.
did it.
Yeah, thank you,
And
Steph. Thank you.
so I have never been able to replace her. Not everybody wants to work for half time at that salary rate and not get any benefits. So I did have a young girl that I know, and so she's been coming in doing a great job. But Marla used to do, and now what she's doing is like we print out sheets for all of our property record cards on Agland or residential, pulling the cards, putting them in, writing in the computer, writing on the cards, refiling, um, helping us. And with my plans are with her too is when she gets done with actually 25s, no 26. I used to have a pile of paper like this to pull the cards and put stuff in. The change finder on um, pictometry. So none of us have a whole lot of time to do that, to do the change finder, especially in range 4 where we are going to have to do our 6-year inspection. So as soon as she gets done with that, I'm going to have her start on that. You know, she's doing a lot of oddball little things, but they're not little things, they're big things because we don't have to take our time to do it either then. So that's the reason for that line.
So it looks like last year we had them in as a temporary for 8 hours per week, 416 hours for the year, which was 8,320. And so we're asking for them to work 20 hours per week for the whole year, right?
Yes, correct. And she comes in like in the afternoon, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. So
Thoughts from anyone? Does anybody have anything?
That's a pretty significant jump in the hours that are needed, Marilyn, for her. It's a pretty significant jump from last year to this year.
that's because I didn't have anybody helping us for a long time.
What was Marla's? How many hours a week was her position?
She was the same.
At 20?
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else? Are you okay with the jumping that much?
No. Understand that you need some help, but I think there can be some other things done um, throughout your department. That's where I'm at. I'm saying no to the $21,278.
Is there another number or another suggestion you'd like to give her?
Not at the moment.
Anybody else?
And that rate was at the $20 an hour. So, and then with the 2% makes it 20.40.
I like Lily and I like what she's doing and I know she's super helpful, but I will echo a little bit of what Scott said, which is obviously I think the board knows that there's some potential staffing challenges within your department.
Yes.
And potentially if those staffing challenges were addressed, we might not need Lily for 20 hours per week. Is that what you were sort of hinting at?
That is exactly what I was hinting at. Yes.
Okay. I, in a budget that we're in right now, I cannot in good faith say like, yep, let's add a position. We're not really adding a position. We just took them from temporary to full part-time. So I don't know. That's
Yeah.
kind of where I'm at.
Yep.
Maybe we just need to have continued
And
discussions.
I did have at this position for a long time. So with 1, 2, 3 employees, a deputy, myself, and then the part-times. I've had that for a long time. It's just when Marla left, then that got dropped off. And
I'm kind of curious. I'm gonna grab another budget book from a different EMR. Just one second. I just wanna look at this.
what did she say? She talks way too fast. Oh,
So it looks like in 2020 and 2021, you had your deputy, and then you had you had 2 employees at 40 hours and 1 at 20 hours, and then you had a temp. And so this year we're at deputy one, we're at 3 employees at 40 hours, and you're asking for a 4th. So that's actually it's an additional position.
does it have the names in there for that
Yeah.
year?
Let me go back. All right, it says, so it was you and then your deputy, and then Janelle, Gail, and Marla, and then you had a temp employee.
And Marla was part-time.
She was the
20, right.
part-time one.
And that was 2021, 2022 budget.
So we've essentially increased a full-time staff member.
Well, I think we probably took a part-time to a full-time and then kept the temp, and now we're asking for another part-time.
And we're no, yes, she was, and then she retired, and then she says, "Well, if you ever need somebody to help, I'd be willing to come back part time." So that really helped a lot. But we have so many more permits, have a pile of blueprints to draw. You got a pile of all the 521s to be done, and the GIS has taken more time, especially with the photometry and the change finder. It takes time to look at, okay, what changed? Okay, this building changed. So then you have to go into the property record card and see if it was listed before, that we already picked it up maybe last year, because the aerial photography, it's the last one was 2 years ago. And if it was, then we cross it off and say that it's done. If not, then you go on to the next one. So there's like going and pulling the cards, looking in the computer. I mean, it just takes a lot of time and work. We've been, I think, burdened with a lot more to do this last few years. So, and then that time frame I was really without an employee for 6 months, got really behind. Feel like I'm just still catching up.
Okay, so if nobody has a suggestion right now, I think we're just gonna have to do a call back on that specific thing and just brainstorm
Yep.
in the meantime, if you guys are okay with that. So I'm just gonna put that down as part-time staff. So we'll continue to talk about that, Marilyn, and then we'll come back to it. Okay, so that being said, do you know about the telephone and insurance thing with your budget?
On the telephone,
Yes. So
Brandy told me that she added it on my telephone line.
okay,
So it looks like it may have been
The other
added
amount
in.
that I had for the telephone was for our tablet.
She originally had 500 and now it's at 2,600. So I'm assuming that's with the
Yeah.
aloe.
yeah. Okay, and then let's see here. Under vehicle insurance, let me take that out too. That would be removed, Marilyn, because that goes into the general fund. So that 500 comes out.
Okay.
Okay, and then under maps and aerial photos, does everybody understand why that increased?
I do not understand.
Okay, so I can try to help explain, and then Marilyn can tell me if I'm wrong, because I think we both don't explain this very well. We have what's called the reappraisal fund, and there was a lot of dollars in that fund last year, and so we used a portion of that to pay for pictometry and only budgeted what was in there, the 23.6. Prior to last year, pictometry came out of inheritance. So when the board initially said yes, they said let's pay for it out of inheritance. Last year we took it and put it into her budget, and the 23.6 was the difference. So the actual cost for this year
Understand.
is the 67.4,
Yeah.
correct?
Correct. And Jonathan, if you go like on the Beacon website or my website and see the aerial photography, that's what this is.
So Eagle View is different than,
No, Eagle View is the name of the company, but the name of the product is Pictometry.
okay,
So that is a
That makes
contracted
sense.
amount. It's what we have to pay. So we just used funds from a different one of her other budget, which we'll go through last year. Okay. Anybody have anything else there? Okay. Office equipment.
Yep.
Anything from anyone?
Hang
Nope.
on. I have multiple new sheets.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
dropped that one 150.
Looks like you have 2 copiers. You're budgeting for repairs and then toner. Any questions on this?
No.
Okay. Let's see here. Other equipment repair, that's for her vehicle. And well, yeah. Any
So-
discussion there?
Yep.
No.
Okay. Travel looks like she's requesting 1620. Last year we budgeted 14. Do you want to tell us what the increase is?
This is strictly for the travel, is for the hotel rooms for when we go to a workshop, and Vanguard has a user group meeting, and then NACO conference. And I thought I had it written down.
Yeah, we have it. It looks like there's the hotel for the Vanguard user group meeting. So you're taking 2 people. That's 300. You're taking 2 people to the assessor workshop.
Yes.
You're taking, is it 1 person or 2 people that you're taking to the NACO conference?
Right.
Is it just 1?
And I'm based in like the NACO one, and I know what my assessor workshop is this month, but do not know what the NACO amount's going to be. So if it's going to be the same cost.
Are you taking you and Stacy, or just you to the NACO conference?
Sometimes it depends, because we do get education hours if the state president has gotten something lined up, so we can get education hours. Our property tax assessor comes to get education hours, so that's that's beneficial as she comes. Last year she did come for a day, didn't you?
And it looks like you're asking for $150 for meals that are not covered by registration. So as I'm looking at this, last year we were at 1,400. You did spend a little bit more. You've asked for 1,620 this year. And like we're telling all the other departments, it's we want people to get their hours. We want people to make sure that they're retaining their certifications. But if that means not going to a conference and doing some online or something along or at the district meetings, we're asking for that to happen. So I'm curious if you can come closer to what you were budgeted to last year.
Well, a lot of those for the credit hours, though, they have to be gone through the property tax administrator and approved by them to give us the credit hours. So,
Can you only obtain those hours through those conferences, the NACO conferences?
yeah, we have a webinar every few months. That's an hour with property tax, but pretty much, yeah, workshop's the main one that we get our credit hours through. I think we get 14 this year. They told us at workshop in August.
How many do you have to have each year?
We have to have 60 within a term. So come January, it starts all over again.
Okay.
So in a term outside of say the NACO conference, can you still obtain the 60?
Outside of the NACO conference,
The annual conference, not necessarily district meetings.
I usually get my hours, but you know, for the deputy, it's always been taking them so that they can get theirs
So
too.
it's possible for them to get it outside of that conference.
Well, outside of the conference, then you'd have to sign up for some courses, and the property tax does those courses, and they could either be 1 day, 2 day, 5 day, and the registration is like up to $500 for the week to take the class. Plus, if it's out in Kearney or something, I mean, you spend a lot more that way doing the courses um, outside of what we get with property tax and the assessors group.
I made my recommendation. I think Stacy, you know that I want you to get as much as you possibly can, but this is not the year to send both officials, the official and the deputy, to conferences if we don't have to. We were at 1,400 last year. That's where I'm at for this year. Does anybody else have a different?
So you have the sheet that says what all my,
Yes, I do. Yes,
I wonder where mine went.
but I show that you're budgeting for two, and I'm asking you
For the NACO conference?
for Vanguard user group meeting plus
Yes.
hotels for the assessors workshop and the NACO conference. It looks like two people for all of those. So I'm asking you to cut to 1,400. So meaning Stacy would not be able to go to all of those. That's what I'm asking.
Well, and two, I think that you have some room, Marilyn, because here's just some things that I have done. Obviously, this is weather dependent, but you know, with the NACO conference, we'll talk about the one that's in December, right? I don't go on Tuesday. I wait and I go early Wednesday morning. So I don't have the cost of the $160 for the one night. There are other NACO workshops that there's, you know, some crossover. There might be something in an afternoon. So I don't go. I don't go a night before to save costs. That's $160. If I do that twice, that's $320. So I think that you have some room, but you might just have to might have to make some sacrifices on how many nights that you stay. It's just a suggestion.
Okay.
So if we take Stacy off for the NACO conference, that would be, what would that take off then?
Just for the travel portion of it,
Hmm?
looks like half of that, like 75 there, like 300 bucks.
300?
And I've asked for 220.
All right.
All right.
I like your number better.
Okay. So 1,400. Okay. All right. Under dues, subscriptions, registrations, does anybody have anything there? So last year we budgeted 1,100. She spent 1,245. She's asking for 1,350 this year. I'm guessing something is increasing. She's got a lot of. She's going to the legislative conference again. The NACO Southeast District meeting, NACO conference. So that'd be 160.
That would be the 160 then, right?
Yep. And then the others, so there's 75 there.
And our assessor workshop did go up this year. It was 200 the last year, and this year it's 225. So
If we're taking Stacy off of the
off
NACO,
the NACO conference.
that'd just be 160. Would you be okay with that? Just removing the 160?
Okay. So that makes it what?
Let's just make it 1200. Is everybody okay with that? Yeah, sure. Okay.
That's not right. 1200.
Yeah, from 1350 to 1200. So we just did 150.
Oh, from 160. You're taking 160 off of 1350.
Right. Yes. All right, printing and publishing. Anybody have anything?
So that would be 1190 then, wouldn't it? What were you making dues and
She's just
registration?
rounding up to 1200 for
1200.
you.
What?
I just rounded up to 1200.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Printing and publishing. Anybody have anything?
Oh.
Supplies.
I think that's one that can remain flat, and it looks to be flat.
Data processing. Fuel.
The bottom one I'll tell you is PIP. It's a company that took over for Dugan out of Omaha that I always had used to get my supplies and envelopes from. So it's called PIP now. And this last year with my change of valuation notices that I had to do 8,500 and all the envelopes for them. That was probably my largest cost out for my supplies this last year. So I'm not sure what it'll be for this year. So that was kind of a guess. It was close to what I paid though.
Okay. Anything else from anyone? Okay.
No.
So we're gonna circle back on that other position later, Marilyn. But then in the meantime, let's go to the reappraisal fund, which is page 136.
Okay, you lost me. Where are you at?
We're gonna go to reappraisal fund.
Oh, so the rest of it's okay?
Yep. So this is that fund that I was mentioning that we took the additional dollars out of. And so do you want to, just for Jonathan's purpose, will you explain what this fund is used for, Marilyn? Or what it had been used for traditionally? Can you explain?
So we created this several years ago when Bob Ayler from Vanguard was doing all of my commercial pickup work and also TIF projects. When there's companies that are building and they apply for TIF, then they always want an estimate of the value because that's a place on the form, I guess, that they have to put that down. So since that is out of the scope of my contract with them, I tell them, actually Jonathan Jank, that they have to pay for it. If they're willing to pay for it, I send the blueprints to Bob, and then he prices it and sends it back to me. I run it through this, and so the county pays it because Vanguard did not want to be dealing with another person. And then I send the copy of the bill that we paid back to the person that won it, and then they reimburse the county for that. And it goes back into this fund.
So in addition to that, though, what we decided last year was that it would make more sense to also use the reappraisal fund for those services with Bob that we have to. So outside of TIF, we also contract with Bob to do pickup work, and that comes at a fee as well. And so we will pay for those services out of the state because it's the same thing. It's appraisals. So that's why we're paying for it out of this fund. So what needs to be in this fund this year?
He's actually going to do an analysis of the whole county. He's going to, some of the farmhouses haven't been redone for 6-7 years. And I don't know if they said it at our protest hearing, but they said it to me in the office that, of course, what do? They go look at my property and they see, oh, the value hasn't changed, but yet my value's changed every time for the last 3 years. Well, they live over here and they're in acreage and that's the market. But it's true that they need to be updated with the new pricing. So some of those farmhouses are probably going to take a pretty big jump. But we have to take the sales that were the acreages to do our analysis on. And then whatever he comes up with will be applied to the farmhouses because the farmhouses should be valued the same as the houses on acreages. So they haven't been and they need to be. So it's going to be like a major project, I think.
So, with that being said, what is the cost associated with his work? Do we have an actual estimate from him?
We did some queries out of the computer and he got it. And then they did some other queries within the queries to see how many houses weren't done by him in the past and how many had old pricing on them. And I think there was like 650 of them. So he came back with about the 35,000.
Okay,
But I did
that-
not include anything in there for like the commercial pickup order.
exactly. Yeah. Okay. So so we're thinking 35,000 just for Bob, and then the commercial pickup work. Let's talk about that.
Like the building permits and stuff, or if we have a 6-year inspection, like when Stacy and Amy go out, we go ahead and take the pictures of the commercial properties for him. And he does all the pickup work, like Pet Source. I think he's been there for 3 years in a row, and the commercial buildings, whatever's there, January 1. My assessment date is 12/01, January 1 every year. So sometimes it's just a partial, maybe they only have the foundation down, maybe the walls are going up. So we do a calculation of the value at that point in time. And then that means we have to do a callback for the next year to finish the value on it. So there's those that are reoccurring from last year, and then we'll have some new ones for this year. So,
So, what's the estimated cost of that?
well, in the past, I've paid him about 10.
About 10. Does everybody feel comfortable adding 10 for that? So it'll go from 35 to 45.
Sounds like it's something we have to do.
Okay. All right. Anything else on reappraisal? Any other questions, Jonathan? Scott?
No.
You're no longer the question guy.
No questions.
All right. That's it. Thank you, Marilyn.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So we will go to our next budget hearing, which is for the sheriff, and we'll start. Let's start on the other funds. One fifty one, 153. Let's just start.
What do you want to start with?
Just 24,
2411 and
Oh,
2412.
okay.
24, 12, 24, 14.
So page 151.
Yeah, we'll start there. Hers working. Did we get hers working too? No. This? Yeah. Did we get it working? Can we put that over there too? What? We don't have any more batteries, so if they die, they die. Oh, I know. And they last literally a week. That's crazy. That's expensive. Okay. So you weren't here. You were kind of here when I was explaining the whole breakdown, but I'll just say it again since you're here and you weren't here for that. Maybe you were here earlier when I said it. I don't remember. But basically, we had discussions with each of the departments. We had this discussion, you and I and Daryl, and we sat down and explained that we started off not in a great spot this year. And then additionally, on top of that, on average, the county typically, when all of the budgets come in, we are anywhere from like $1 million to $1.5 million more in request. So departments are increasing the request, and that includes things like insurance and cost of gravel, wages, things like that. This year, the request is $4.5 million more than last year. So that's about $3 million more than we're even typically used to. By law, we cannot raise $4.5 million. The levy is capped, and you can only raise so much by law. And so all of us have our work cut out for us to figure out how we cut that much out of the budget. So with that being said, I want to be very, very clear that nothing is personal. And I know that there's been some history here. And so I just want to be very transparent about where we're at so that you guys understand. It's not, we just want to come after you, Mike, or we want to come after you, Lisa. It's that we literally have to make cuts everywhere. So before we start, I just want to make sure you understand that. Okay. Before we get to your budget, can we do the small ones first, and then we'll dive into yours? So we'll start with Treasury, if you guys want to run through that. So 151. one?
You don't have them?
It's fairly easy. I could just we had there was advice that was given that said that we needed to just budget what was in the fund,
Correct.
and so we budgeted what was in the fund. I only have a question. This is going to be a question for our meeting's going to turn into longer than 30 minutes. We're going to ask the auditor, the state auditor's office. So if we are, it's difficult because if we're in a do not spend, can we budget to spend? I'm a little,
I would say no.
well, and okay. But then we kind of just have it on there arbitrarily as saying,
Oh, okay.
so if
Probably
you,
because that's what.
that's what's in it.
Yeah.
But if we're, but as it is right now, budget requested, we're saying, okay, we'd like to spend 67, 25, 35. If a drop were to come and we were to spend it, we would have to open that back up anyways and change it. So my question to the auditor is going to be like, can we even budget anything in there right now with it being in a do not spend? Again, if we come out of that, then we can spend it, or if another drop comes, then obviously we could spend it. But that is just a technicality. So I'm just letting you know on Thursday, I'm just going to ask him and we'll share what he says from there.
And you can ask him, but I would imagine that we still have to state what's in there.
The same ones. What, explain, Mike.
Pardon me?
What do you mean the same ones in there?
You'd have to budget
Explain
what's
what's
currently
in
in there.
Well, yeah, I kind of was like, well, do you just put it at the bottom as the total and not really budget for anything? I just don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to any more. I don't want to like flag anything that
Sure,
could.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
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 So let's just add that to our list for Jeff. I just want to make sure that we're not flagging anything or doing anything that we're not supposed to. Okay. Any other questions about this one? Do you have questions, Jonathan? Okay. I would encourage you to take
I mean,
time
I
to
do,
learn
but I
about each of them.
I don't
Okay.
understand.
Okay. Got it. Okay. And then 153 is 2414. And then I just have the same question there. I know you guys budgeted for what's in there. I'm not judging about what you've budgeted, just I want to make sure we're doing the right thing. So I will ask the same questions. And so if we do a call back, I'll give you the answers when we do that. Does that sound good? Sounds fair.
Right.
Okay. All right.
Do you know if that total is actually accurate to 43,
I
seven
think it is,
thirty-eight?
isn't it?
Do you know if that's what's currently available?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So regular sheriff's budget is page 59. Okay. Starting right at the top, does anybody have any questions with there shouldn't be anything with the official salary. Any questions? Or the chief deputy line, any questions there?
No.
Under deputy salaries, is there any questions there?
Not at the moment.
So I have a different number.
I'm not sure who did the sheet,
Sure.
but the totals do not match.
Mhm.
So on the actual salary sheet that was included, your total is $1,193,383.49. And then on your deputy salary line, you have $1,188,078.48.
I think that there was one updated one.
And take it, or we had to put that in that one.
Mhm.
Into the deputy salary.
Yeah, because he had to pay FICA and retirement, which the retirement rate is different for law enforcement officers. It was first figured on just the regular personnel sheet, but we had to put it on this sheet so that we could calculate retirement correct.
Okay. Are we good on that one then?
For now.
Okay, regular employee salaries, any questions there? That's a different personnel sheet.
I thought increases were capped at 4%. Why are some 6?
That is a question for Mike.
Are they capped at 4%?
I can answer that.
Okay.
They say 6% because it figured the percentage. How we figured it was those people get shift differential,
Okay.
and so that's why it's highlighted on this personnel sheet. So their present salary, we use their present salary less their shift differential.
I can't hear.
Took that time, I think everybody received 4%, and came up with a new number, and then added the shift differential onto that new number. We didn't figure their merit and their increases to include that shift differential because anybody can change shift differential.
Absolutely.
So the percentage should only be different on the people who have that shift differential, and that's why they're highlighted.
Withdraw the question.
Okay. All right. So, regular employee salaries. Any questions?
So I do have a question. And I'm assuming that equates with page 65
Yes.
in our books. Is that correct?
That's
Okay.
correct.
So for Trevor Smith, he is scheduled at 40 hours per week, but it says currently he's working part-time.
That's correct.
Can you explain that? Why is he being paid, or why are we allocating a full-time 40-hour week schedule, but he's only working part-time?
Because he's only working part-time temporarily,
For how long?
probably till after November.
So then, how many hours a week is he working?
It's 10 hours a week, isn't it?
10 hours a week, yes, sir.
Then this salary line should be reduced to match how much it is, how long he's working. So if he's working 10 hours per week and not 40 hours per week, you shouldn't be budgeting for the entire 40 hours per week, because the budget year starts as of July 1.
That's correct.
So if he's working July, August, September, October, November at 10 hours per week, then that number should be significantly reduced.
I agree with you there.
Okay.
We'll have
What's
to adjust that then.
what's the reasoning for the 10 hours per week and then going up to 40 hours per week?
Well,
Go ahead.
you go ahead.
I'm just curious.
What you have here is an individual that requested to go part-time pending the outcome of the election in November. He had an opportunity to basically be employed, I believe, in York with a family member working full-time with some good benefits. And I believe the benefits is what's driving this. He didn't want to get in a position where he lost his health insurance. So he came in and he said, I'd like to continue to work, but I'd like to work part-time until there's a resolution in November. At that point, if he is satisfied with the resolution, he'd like to come back full-time. Now, to Reagan's point, we should budget this as it stands today. What is he making now, and what are the hours that he's working? So, I mean, this is where we should take and realign this for the hours worked. And if something happens down the road, then you'll need to come back in and we'll have to have a discussion on this. And I don't know where we go for that, if you have to reopen a budget or if you're gonna have to find that money somewhere else. But it needs to be budgeted as the hours exist now.
But also,
Did
why?
I get that right?
So, okay, can I just ask you a question? Before I ask the question, you said we need to make the adjustment for, I think, 5 months, right, at 10 hours. So are you saying make the adjustment 5 months at 10 hours and then 7 months at 40 hours, or did you just say it needs to be budgeted at 10 hours?
I would say budgeted at 10 hours and put it in the budget that way. I don't want to bet on anything down the road. I mean, that's a crapshoot. I'm not interested in rolling the dice on that. We take things as we find them on budget day, so to speak. And that's where I think this ought to land.
So you're
But I'm also confused as to why, like, if it's a full-time position, right, and you hired for a full-time position, if you can make it work at 10 hours a week, why would we pay for a full-time position then?
I agree.
Because we're making it work at 10 hours a week. And I have other people picking up the slack for that. It's a vital position. But it is taking away from certain people being out on the road because they have to do some of this function.
What is
So-
his role?
One of the cutbacks we made, and I mostly agree with Mr. Zabraki. The only thing I disagree on is I agree that we should budget it at 10 hours a week for the 5 months. Because in November, it will go back to a full-time position, whether it's him that fills it or somebody else. Somebody else will have to come in and do that job.
Okay, so if we can do it at 10 hours a week now, why, I just don't understand why the county has to say, well, depending upon the election, you can do 10 hours now, and then if it goes your way, you can do 40 hours. I don't think that's in the best interest of the taxpayer. If you can do 10 hours a week now, you should be able to do 10 hours a week the whole year.
But I don't want to take away from the other deputies.
Well, you are right now.
I am right now, yes, to fill in.
Okay, so that doesn't,
Are you saying that patrol deputies are being pulled off of patrol duties to fill this position?
Not patrol deputies, task force deputies.
Let's call this what it is. It's an interdiction position, and interdiction deputies are filling in on the backside while this individual is working his 10 hours.
And whether you agree with it or not, it's a vital position.
In my opinion,
And either we were gonna have to let him just quit and then hire somebody and train somebody else for a full-time position. So the other personnel said, I will do part of his job when I can do it. And then the other one does part of his job when they can do it. It takes some of it they can do from their car, but it takes their focus away from what they're supposed to be doing.
isn't this position time sensitive? I mean, it's not
Yes.
I can do it next week type thing.
Correct.
I don't know. I just have an issue with, like Daryl said, rolling dice on an election as to we just let this person work 10 hours a week up until we know for sure who's going to be sheriff. That part I can't get behind,
Oh, I understand that, but it's
and I won't.
at that point in November, whether he decides to go or stay, that position is going to have to be filled with a full-time person. So in November, it will have to go back to full-time. We may have to hire somebody else if he doesn't come back to full-time.
I think that's probably contingent on who wins the election, and I don't think that's part of the budgetary process we want to get into.
Correct.
I don't think it should matter.
The thrust of it is when there's a new sheriff, that individual is gonna have to decide that they want to continue this analyst position or not. And I think we talk, and again, I'm back to 10 hours a week, from now until this gentleman decides if he's staying or going. And at that point, we'll have a resolution with this election, and that'll be the end of it. I
Correct.
think that we should just budget it for the 10 hours, and that's it.
For the entire fiscal year.
Yes, for the entire fiscal year.
Okay.
Yes.
Reagan, do you agree?
It just seems like we're creating a position for a person and we're holding a position for a person. And I understand it's your decision to make as to how you run your department. But again, I'm going to go back to if it's operating off of 10 hours a week, then I cannot get on board with paying 40 hours a week.
We're not creating a position. The position is already there.
I
Right.
understand, but you've modified the position for a person, Mike. And what I'm hearing you say is that this is an essential position, and yet the person who was hired to fill that position is now only working 10 hours a week. Therefore, you have other staff that are essentially picking up the slack for this person as they are able. So you're catering to an individual. So if the position is that imperative, then and it's necessary that somebody is working at 40 hours a week, then somebody should probably be working at 40 hours a week. Otherwise, if it can operate at 10 hours a week, which is what's currently been done, then that's how it should be budgeted for.
Well, let's just budget it for the full 40 and then we'll,
I-
we'll fill the position full time then.
I think the board,
Regardless, we can't do that because the person has already not been working. That it's going to have to be reduced anyways, because he's been working 10 hours a week since July 1st, correct?
That's correct.
So then that budget amount, that dollar amount's going to have to go down anyways.
It'll have to go down for the time he's worked. That's, yes.
Mike, we have a lot of dollars to cut out of this budget, especially your budget. And right now I'm looking at $53,207 of cut by removing this position altogether. If it can operate on 10 hours a week right now, I think it can operate on 0 hours a week. That's where I'm at. We've got a lot of money to move and we just can't. That's where I'm at.
I understand what you're saying, Mr. McCarrick, but if I take this position away totally,
Mhm.
then that means I've got 3 other people that have to not do their normal job to do this job.
You've
because it
already
is
made that
vital.
decision though. You've already made that decision by allowing this person to go to 10 hours a week. And I think you'd have a hard time disputing that.
Well, I made the decision not to get rid of the position. I made
I
the
understand
decision to let him go part-time till he makes that decision. But if it's that big a deal, I'll just fill it with a full, hire somebody else.
Well, that's where I'm at. If it can be done on 10 hours a week, I'm gonna cut the whole position.
okay. It seems like we're at an impasse. It sounds like that's what we're going to budget for at this point. Again, we're going to do a callback, so we already are going to come back to the table and we can discuss it again. But for sake of time, we're going to need to move on. I do want to circle back to chief deputy salary really quick. I just made myself a note and going through this. Sorry, let me find the page. This is just a question. Melby is retiring, correct? When is he retiring? October 2nd. October 2nd. Okay. So right now we're budgeting for his current salary plus 4%. That would not be correct. It should be the starting salary for that position. So that would need to be modified. The starting salary for that position is not the same as his current position plus 4%. So I'm just asking for a modification on that line. So it would just reflect July, August, September, October. July, September, October. Well, 3 months, right? July, August, September, because if he's retiring October 2nd. So 9 months at the starting wage, 3 months at what he's currently making.
Well,
see
it
what I'm saying?
wouldn't be necessarily at the starting wage because the person that's gonna replace him,
There's the 6%, but what I'm
Right.
saying is that is still different. When I can't remember what it was, but when I went and looked, it was just there's just a difference. I'm just asking you to clean that line up. That's it. So that will change just a little bit, but it will change.
right,
Okay. You guys get that part?
yes.
Okay.
Refresh my memory here, when you did the, 8 years ago almost, when you split all this up, when you took your chief deputy salary and split it amongst your captains, how many people were you paying out of that chief deputy's line to make up all of that?
What I did was I took the chief deputy salary and a sergeant's salary, put them together and split it for the 2 captains' positions.
Just two.
Correct.
So how did you get the additional money for your task force commander? He was a captain back when you started.
Right.
Was he part of that process back when then? Was he
No,
the
one
third
of the-
captain?
One of the captains was a backfill position.
Okay. I just was curious how many bodies were involved in that shuffle.
Okay. Any other questions about that? Sorry, I skipped over that and I forgot that I had that question. Okay. On line number 9 is holiday and mini grant pay. It looks like you're asking for an increase of 50. Wait, sorry, that I cannot math. 30.
Let's go back up to number 8.
Okay, let's go back up to number 8.
You got part-time salaries in here. And we
He
had
didn't
talked,
ask for anything. There's no request for reserve or for that, but on the personnel sheet there is. Is that what you're talking about?
well, I'm looking at, on
Okay,
my sheet, it says budget requested 16.5.
Yeah, that's what mine says.
Oh, I was looking at this one. Dang it. Okay.
And
Thank
I
you.
guess
Sorry.
we talked last year about no more part-time, no more reserve.
Is there another new sheet?
Yeah, I had this one buried, so we must have gotten it before.
I don't have that.
I
Let
mean,
me just make a
that's,
copy of mine real quick.
that's 16.5 I'd like to pull out.
I don't have that on mine.
From the personnel sheet.
Well, I've got it right here, Brandy. I don't know what sheet it was on, but it was one of the extra sheets that you put out.
Because we didn't have a personnel sheet for part-time, and Roxy asked for a part-time salary sheet so she could verify the salary. So we didn't have one originally.
Well,
So
there's an additional sheet that came out that's got that on there.
Ours is
I mean,
zero.
Oh.
what line would it come out of if it didn't come out of that one?
yeah, yeah, it'd be number 6 if it was deputy.
Oh, I don't have any.
But you don't
But
have
there
any,
is no-
there's nothing budgeted this year for reserve deputies.
Right.
Right.
But there is 16.5 budgeted for part-time deputies. At least that's what
I
I've got in
have
front of
nothing.
me.
I
have
have
0.
nothing on mine.
They have 0, but in the salary sheets, there are 2
Right, I see.
individuals,
That you put.
and the total amount is
I don't know where this came from. I think it's the
$16,500.64.
additional sheet she brought out. And I didn't save the
These are
original
different.
ones because she sends out replacements. I throw the originals away.
This was from that first time.
Oh, okay. That's it.
So this was submitted that first time. So there's the original that shows nothing, and then there's this one that shows 16.5.
Because Roxy asked for a personnel sheet. I don't know what the employee are. So I just don't know what one.
Dave Fry and Tyson Osborne.
Yeah, it does show on the personnel sheet. It does show two. Shows Dave Fry, Tyson Osborne.
Okay, so just to clarify, we do not want that, right? We are removing the 16.5. That is not in yours, and that's not, we should remove it from ours. Yes?
Yeah, I don't have it on
Okay,
mine.
so let's just X that out on that sheet that you guys have, the updated one. All right, so then now let's go to the holiday mini grant pay. Last year we were at 50, this year we're at 80. You want to walk us through that? Why you're requesting the $30,000 increase?
For overtime.
You're expecting $30,000 worth of overtime this next year?
More than last year.
I mean, that's even significantly more than 24-25. So in
But we're-
24-25, your actual expenditures were $45,849. Last year it was $49,630. That was a $4,000 increase, and this is a $30,000 increase.
Well, we're working with a deputy less, so that's gonna cause more overtime.
What do you mean a deputy less?
Y'all cut a deputy last year,
You were given 18.
correct?
So wouldn't that have been reflected this year? Because it wasn't. It was a $4,000 increase.
I had 50,000 penciled in. I'm just trying to keep it similar to last year, knowing that they were down a deputy, and knowing that that was reflective, hopefully, of that overtime. So I did have 50
And I
penciled in.
had 50 on mine.
And part of the reason for that, which may not happen again next year, but this year's 4th of July, we were requested to have a lot of staff. On the 4th of July, a lot of staff worked overtime. Even
That's this year's budget, though.
It's the one we're
July
talking
4th.
about, those guys.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
it couldn't have been that much.
Not $30,000.
Okay, pulling $55,000. Blair's raising her hand. Blair, if you want to speak, you can come forward and just join them.
So that line, this is the first year that it's actually overtime. Overtime has been coming out of their those salary lines. So it just used to be holiday and then like a mini grant. We never paid for overtime. So I just, I think it's on the spreadsheet.
But Blair, last year, if it was coming out of the salary line, then you still were okay
Right.
within the
We
salary
didn't
line.
work like any overtime last year.
Last year, we flexed a lot of time, the deputies took time off to get their comp time below 80 hours. And we won't be flexing K-9 hours or overtime this year because it caused a lot of staff shortages.
So that's holiday and overtime. That's why it's such a big jump.
You said 55?
Yeah, I was trying to, he mentioned the overtime on 4th of July, so I was trying to accommodate the,
I can't do 80, but I can get behind 55.
same. Anybody else? Or another number?
Seems reasonable to me.
Okay, we'll just pencil it in.
I do want you to understand though that, and I spoke to Mr. Zabraki about it. I know y'all had good intentions. Nothing was done nefarious. But when you approved those extra 2 holidays, that was not in our budget.
Yeah.
And that cost us 12,000 some dollars because it was not in our budget.
And that's,
I don't know if you're gonna do the same thing this year or not.
I don't know if that, well, and who knows? I mean, I don't know if that's something that's gonna reoccur every year. I think last year was kind of an aberration on some level with that.
I think so too.
I think there was some not correct guidance given on
Yeah.
that this year. It is my understanding that we, after the fact that we did not have to do that. So I'm
'Cause
just
it-
throwing that out there.
The only budgets that it really affected was the 911 center, the jail, and us.
Right.
For us, it was a little over $12,000 for those 2 days because we had to pay double time and a half on holidays. The jail, I know Sarah figured it up. I don't know what her figures were. And Mariah figured it up. I don't know what her figures were, but I didn't know if that was going to happen again this year, so I wanted to budget for that holiday overtime.
Makes sense.
Okay. So line number 10, that's being removed from your guys' budget. So insurance is coming out of your budget and we're just budgeting for insurance in general under the general fund. So work comp and insurance will come out of the sheriff's budget. It comes out of everybody's budget. So you can
that's
remove,
what it's going to be set at, 44.
yeah, so that just comes out. So
Okay.
you're not, it just goes into the actual general fund budget. So on line 18, you're also removing that. So that just is general
Line
fund.
18,
Yes. Yep.
That NERMA bill that's so unpredictable every year,
right.
we're just gonna take it out and pay one place for everything.
So it won't be in my budget.
It isn't in your budget at all.
Just take that line out of my
Correct.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. The work comp and insurance. Okay, so uniform allowance, that's number 13. Does anybody have anything there?
I had 5,000 penciled in. The last 2 budget years, they spent 4636 in 24-25 and 4,300 last year.
And you penciled in what?
5,000.
I can live with that. I had 45. I can go another 5.
Do you have anything? You two?
I mean, 5 makes sense.
I was looking at something else. I missed that, Mr. Zabarki.
Uniform allowance, you're wanting 10, we're talking 5,000.
I had 5 also, 5,000.
I was just looking at the historic spending over the last 2 budget years, 46 and 43.
That's probably about last.
I know that, sorry, Sheriff,
Go ahead.
this year we're, needing a couple new vests and they're at 1,600 a piece. They expire, thankfully, not all of our vests are expiring at the same time. And this year we have, looked at all the expiration dates and we need, or 2 of our guys need a vest. But obviously with the nature of our job, we don't know what's going to happen. So we would like to ask for, or to budget for 3 vests.
And I don't have a problem with that other than I wasn't sure where you were going to take that from. I didn't realize you were going to take it from uniform allowance in a sense. I mean, you said uniform. I'm thinking shirts and pants and maybe
sure,
some,
yeah.
maybe a duty belt or something, but I didn't account it for that. That comes more under an equipment line for
Question.
me.
So we're just budgeting for a spare? I'm okay. I'm 2 new ones plus 1.
Deputies are due for
Yeah,
extra.
and then we're doing
Yes.
and a spare.
What
Not
are those?
necessarily a spare, but in case something like I know the deferred came out of mine. Luckily, they were able to repair the zipper, but if something else happened, somebody's gonna need them.
What do those things run a piece? I haven't bought one in years.
We
PC's
have,
like 1600.
yeah, 16.
Oh, that's what you said,
Yeah,
60, okay.
Yeah.
And the thing is,
That's
if something happens,
Yeah.
God forbid,
And they can't really share either because it's custom.
Oh, their size,
Yeah.
I get that, and I,
Then you really can't have an extra.
it's not a God
Yeah, that's what I
forbid
was just
thing,
about to
Mike,
say.
I don't want anybody to
I'm
get
kind of
hurt.
in at 75.
We'll budget in case we have to have somebody measure it for a new one, because, yeah, we can't just have like one made and,
How about we budget for 2? And you said they're about 1600 each, right? Which is like 3200. So that would bring us up to 8200 from the 5000 you guys were proposing.
Mhm.
Did you replace any vests last year?
No, we had 2 last year.
So then that would be, that was included in last year's price. So then 5,000 would be close to what that is for,
we bought that
Am I
out
not-
of asset forfeiture.
about another asset forfeiture.
No.
What, Mike?
Well, I guess I'll ask the question, you've got money in 2414. Is this something you could take and purchase out of your justice funds? Because you're not in a do not spend with justice.
Right.
Would you be willing to do that on the vest?
For all of them, or in case we need the.
No, the 2, and then if you need a third, whatever you've got left in the fund.
That's the just in case. So I had suggested 82. And I think what he's saying is do the budget the 82, which would be the 5000 plus the 3200. And then if you needed the other one to use.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So we're good at 82, right? Okay. Okay. Telephone. So there's a change there too.
I'm gonna change that.
So she'll change that. So we took some stuff out, but we're putting things back in. So your phone bill, like the actual sheriff's phone bill, Eric gets like 25 bills. So the one that is designated to sheriff will go into your budget. We have that amount and we'll put it in for you. So then from now on, you guys will get an actual allo bill and you'll have to submit for claims like everything else. But that's where we'll make sure to add that into the budget. Make
Okay.
sense
17,000.
for your
A
phone?
year?
You said hourly.
That,
A year?
Yes, that's how much your
well,
phone
that
is.
includes the 9,500 though, that you had.
For your cell phones, yeah. And all of the mobile stuff, yeah.
17.
17,190.
Makes sense? Okay. Okay, radio repair. Looks like you did drop it from last year, from last year's budget, but you only spent 600.
A lot of that was because we were holding off on spending some money because we wanted to make our budget. It's just like one of my supervisors was down at First Wireless this morning because his radio quit working. We know we're having some problems with them, with the radio system. And then we find out after we get down there that one, I think it was $1,200 to fix the radio. Isn't that right? $1,200 to fix the radio because he can't transmit on it.
So radio repair and radio equipment is really gonna be, it can change because based on what we're asking for in our equipment line. So that's, like right now, we're asking for that because if we're not able to update our body cameras and stuff, then radios, then we would have to repair a lot.
Okay, are you guys fine leaving that one then?
At 15?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, looking at what it takes to, I'd like to know what you got for $600 last year in the way of repairs. If it takes you 1,500 almost to fix this one that just went bad.
Some of them are just,
Is it batteries a lot of times on some of
them are
these?
batteries, because the batteries go bad. This is the first time in a while where they've told us it's gonna cost this much to fix that one specific break. Why, I don't know.
What's a new handheld cost, you know, offhand?
Pardon me?
What's a new handheld cost offhand?
7.
Wow, okay.
Okay. Next line is utilities. So you only spent almost 21,000 last year, so you decreased your budget request to 25, and I had penciled in 22.
That's what I had, 22.
Anybody else?
I'm at 22.
Sounds good.
Does that
I
sound
was just
reasonable?
budgeting for like, you never know when it's gonna be super cold and the
We,
air
we
or the
cannot
heat's
budget
on.
for you never know.
Right,
We just,
right, right.
unfortunately, this year it's just,
So-
I get what you're
I
doing.
know.
I
but
get
it's
it.
just- It's hard.
All
to
right.
sometimes budget for it.
So we're gonna go 22. All right, and then we'll skip to number 19, which is office equipment repair. Looks like you didn't spend any of that last year, but you only spent 237 the year before that. Any plans or what we're spending the 1,000 on?
I think Blake said there's some repairs at the offices that need to be done that we didn't do last year. Right, with Blake?
Yeah. That's not fine.
I have a question. Is that something that has to be done this year? I didn't. I'm asking you. So you're telling me that you don't have any lights right now?
No, what do you?
Okay.
um,
I just want to make sure because I'm not
Some
asking you
of
to like
them
sit
are
in the
out.
dark. I'm just saying.
Are these the ones that are out in the garage in the patrol building, or are these in the actual patrol building office area?
No, it's in, some of them are out in different spots of the buildings. The one in the garage, the main light that stays on, I guess you call it emergency light, that
Yeah.
is out. I don't know what that's gonna cost, cause I ain't got nothing high enough to reach up there to replace it anyway.
Yeah.
Even the skid loader won't reach that high. One in the break room, there's light out there. Like you said, we've got a few ballasts that are out. We had somebody that told us they'd come and fix them, but they never did. But yes, they can wait, some of them.
All right.
I had 250 in that line.
I had 500, but
I have either of those. Anybody?
500?
Okay.
What line was that?
19. All right. Other equipment repair. So you last year we budgeted 67.5 and you spent 20,000, almost 21,000. This year you're requesting 70.
is this where you're wanting to take and hook up the generator? Is this the line item that's covering that?
Vehicles mostly.
I'm sorry.
Vehicle repair mostly.
We didn't.
That would be probably all the vehicle problems.
So we're estimating $50,000 in vehicle problems.
I like Captain Melby because he handles the vehicles.
You're gonna need to come up here. Blair, yeah,
Well-
thank you. You know what I was looking for.
Based on your sheet, it says that this is the line item that you want to fix the generator.
Yeah, then I changed it. It's in our equipment line though. It's just a spreadsheet. I did like 4 different spreadsheets. I have to change it.
With the vehicles, again, like Sheriff was talking earlier, with our budget, we passed on a lot of things that needed repaired last year, should have been repaired last year. I've got one in the shop right now that the transmission's out of. I've got probably 3 that need sets of tires, 2 that need brakes. I've got another one that the air conditioner just went out on. So we've got a lot of stuff that's gonna be coming up, and we've got a lot of cars with a lot of miles on them. So we're gonna need repairs coming. It's not when, it's when they show up, it's not if, so that's what we're looking at with that.
You got one vehicle with a part-timer, I think, right? You have one vehicle that goes to Crete with a part-time deputy, do you not?
No, that's.
You pulled that back?
Yeah,
Cause I did his inventory and he still had it when I did his inventory.
Yeah, that vehicle's,
So that vehicle's been pulled back in for use with the rank and file. If
yeah,
need be.
it's already been assigned to a different.
Okay.
entity.
So in your, I think why Daryl was referring to that generator is because it says, I'm gonna get the generator and the patrol running in case of electricity, which was 85,000. And I saw that you requested part of that out of the equipment as well. So I just can't, I can't get behind $50,000 increase.
And I'm the guy that brought this up. If you all remember, we sat in the meeting and I asked the question, why isn't this generator working? And you gave me the reasons why. And here we are at budget time and I don't know, you've got a couple different bids. One of them is pretty high. I know one of them is a little more reasonable. The bottom line, this is not the year now based on what we've got for budgetary problems. I'd like to see that thing hooked up. Conversely, we don't have the money to do it this year. So to me, that's something that comes right off the top. We're not going to put that generator in play this year. We don't have the money for that. And like I said, I'm the one that brought it up and asked the question. So it still is one of those things though that, you know, we just can't do this year.
When you told me to get the bid,
Yeah.
$85,000.
And I had no idea it'd be that high when we talked either.
But the other one was 26 or 28,000. But I still decided to wait either on the asset forfeiture
Mhm.
or next year for that generator.
And that's kind of the number I had in my head when we were talking, is that 25, 28, whatever. And when you told me 85, I just kind of swallowed hard and said, oops, we don't want to go that route.
Where's the generator located?
Right behind the patrol building,
So the new building?
The big building,
the bigger building.
not the task building, but the bigger building.
Right, the new building.
Yeah,
But
okay.
the generator will be operating when it's hooked up, both buildings.
So was it operational previously and now it's not operational? I don't understand.
No, the generator, instead of buying a new generator, in fact, I think it was Mr. Zabrocki that reminded us, the old jail and sheriff's office, their generator was out at the county shop sitting in a field. So we took that generator and moved it down there and had it resurfaced instead of buying a new generator.
And I think it runs. We know that it runs, right?
Yeah, it runs now.
It runs just fine, but we just don't have the money to actually hook in the power source to it.
Right.
Okay, so back to other equipment repair. I
I
can't
can't get on board with $50,000 increase either.
I understand that some repairs will need to be done, and so likely that will need to be more than it was last year, but I don't have a suggestion, so I'm looking to all of you.
I would say 25.
Okay, so let me understand. The other equipment repair is only for the vehicles, is that correct? Because mine says vehicles, and then it actually says the generator. And I know we've talked about the generators out, but
Well, that's a good point.
That's, mine has the generator included in that, and that's automatically out.
right,
It was 35
right.
out of that,
So, okay, so you requested 70,000, but on the other equipment repair, you've got 85,000 in parentheses on the generator, and I know we threw the generator out, but I guess I'm trying to figure out where are you coming up with the additional off of the 20,784? I know Captain Melby said more repairs, and I get that, but it seems like that would be an awful lot of repairs to get to $70,000.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Upon first glance and reading through all of this, it seemed like their plan was to take 35,000 out of that line and then 50,000 from the equipment request line. What if we just took the 35,000 out of that line and so then that would make it 35,000. So that would increase that line from last year's expenditure by 15,000. No? Okay. Just an idea. So looking for suggestions. But
So on line 20, I had 40,000.
based on what I just said, it would have been 35,000.
I'll give them an extra 5.
I guess I did a little quick math and just thinking out loud about, let's just say $1,000 to do a set of brakes. You got probably 5 to 6,000 each time you do a transmission. Throw in another 10,000 for 7 or 8 sets of tires. I mean, I come up to pretty close to 35,000, and that's just vehicle repairs. I don't know what else comes out of that line in the way of repairs, but I'm just, you probably got some miscellaneous stuff in there every time you lose a AC compressor. That's probably a $15 to $2,000, depending on the vehicle, it might even be more. So, I mean, I could get behind 35 to 40 on that line easy enough. I think that's reasonable for what we're dealing with, especially when we're dealing with an aging fleet.
Let's just go with 40.
40?
Where are you two at? We haven't heard
35.
from you.
35 to 40, so 35, 40.
He's saying 40. Are you okay with 40?
I'm okay with
Are you
40.
okay with 40?
We have a long way to go.
I
on
don't
this budget.
disagree.
I
I
do, but-
feel like taking the 35 is, that's why I suggested it, because I remembered Blair's notes and I was just trying to say, okay, if 35 of that was for the equipment or for that generator, it would have left the 35 that they had planned on.
I'm still in at 40, but it appears that Jonathan and I are in the minority at this point.
No, I don't think you are. I think Scott is in the same place. I
Yeah,
think
it
Scott
says
said 40. So if we're at 40, then we're at 40. Okay. Line 21 is travel. So let's see. Okay, it says asking for the same since we didn't send people to out of state training. But you only expended 721.63. Did I look at that number wrong?
It shows
1,037.
1,037.
No, it's different in this.
I had 1,200 in there on my page.
That was a 1,500. Unfortunately, this isn't the year to travel.
Does this include the interdiction conference that you always go to, or is that something not coming out somewhere else?
Normally that gets reimbursed from the feds. This is, like last year, I didn't go, normally I get most of my mandatory training at the sheriff's conference.
Mhm.
I didn't go to it last year, I did my training online. I'm not going to it this year. I don't know whoever the next sheriff is, I don't know if they would plan on going or not.
Mike, it looks like expenditures, it looks like for boss, for quite a long time, they were right around 1,600, and then there was one year where they were 3,300. And so their
Yeah.
recommendation is,
That may have been the year we didn't get reimbursed.
so it seems like the expenditures are around 1,600 then, or have been for some time. And you guys recommended what, 1,500? Yeah. I mean, I think the cost of things typically goes up a little bit. I would be okay with 1,600. Would you guys go to 1,600?
16.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
All right, next line is due subscriptions registration. There's nothing listed on your sheet, so I have zero way of knowing what specifically we're trying to accomplish there. So before we even talk about that line, if you could fill out that expenditure piece and send it back, and then we can talk about that at the callback.
Yep, that's
That
a
just that
callback.
line. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's a really big number for not having anything to support it.
So it looks like, yeah. I mean, in 24, 25, we expended $1,000 out of that line. And then we budgeted 86,000 last year and you guys spent 107,000. And asked for 115 this year. So I think what we're just looking at is there are things that you guys have like subscriptions, printers and things like that we know you have to pay. We're just looking to see what those are so we can be.
Do we not?
There was nothing included.
If
I
you
don't
have
see-
it, we can definitely look at it.
I don't see it on here, Blair.
It's not that much. This section here is all we paid this year. I put yearly or monthly on it.
Can you get copies?
Yeah, I can make copies here. Yeah, I don't.
Like I said, I did like 4 different spreadsheets, so sorry.
Take it easy this break.
Is there drinkable water from the back? Oh, the fountain.
Do they have it? They have-
Machinery.
Printer sounds like a vacuum. Sounds like my mom did like metal.
Yeah, the big Kirby or
Kirby, that was it.
I know.
Did I really just miss it in here? Because I don't think that's in mine.
Purpose.
Why is it so?
Really? I don't know.
I feel bad if I missed it.
That's where the money.
Oh, I see it back here. Page.
I just printed it.
I was looking at this one,
Oh,
and it is in here in this one. Okay. That's helpful.
Okay.
but I don't understand the purpose of a lot. I don't know what they all mean.
I think that would be helpful.
We'll have her explain it.
Yeah.
So while we're waiting on Daryl, will you just run through what these are so Jonathan can understand?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Oh,
No, you're good. So Axons, they're tasers. I know we did a 1-year contract this year or last year. It was like $1,000 just to get 1 more year in. Central Square is our record keeping system. That's yearly, and sometimes it goes up. And they never really know.
so that's a digital thing?
It's the
Central Square.
computer aided dispatch. It's the program that Seward Police Department uses, we use, the jail uses, 911 uses, Milford Police Department uses. It's everything they do on the computer is in Central Square.
Those calls for service, our case reports, like everything.
So is it a shared cost for the city of Seward and the city of Milford?
They charge us separately. So they have their own costs. We have our own costs. The jails have their own. So like, I think around November is usually when we get our bill and we have to go through it.
Was there a way to join that together somehow and make it cheaper for everybody?
It
Well,
is kind
there's
of joined.
they are joined. There's a user group.
Okay.
because Butler's in there.
So is
Saline
this
County.
is this the total amount for all users, or this is just Seward
That's
County?
just us. That's just us sheriff's office. Yeah. So the jail will have their own. This DHHS is the X-ray radiation machine, which is down in the lobby. Yeah, that's the Justice Center. Yeah, we have to pay them for radiation.
I've gone through it a few times.
This Kirby Roth insurance for a notary, we had to pay for to get somebody's notary renewed, so that's not really a.
We need
never-
notaries because we write paperwork like on cases for search warrants. We have to have a
Sure.
notary. So it's helpful to have somebody available.
Present. Yeah.
Correct, yeah.
This Landauer is another radiation. I think per the law we have to monitor how much radiation we take in. So they wear these things in there.
They automatically send us new one every so often. back, and they tend to be.
If you're radioactive?
Yeah.
Language line is our translator. If the guys are out on the road and someone speaks a different language, they call it in, and the jail uses it too, but they pay for that. Laser refrigeration, that was our AC went out down at our other office, so we had to pay for that.
Like our administration is also learning controls, so the county service.
Yeah. Mid-States Crime is a yearly subscription, so we can share data with other law enforcement agencies. Motorola cloud storage is a really expensive one. We have to pay to store all of our camera footage for cases.
How long is that kept? A year, 3 years?
It depends on how they label it. So we have stuff that's on there indefinitely. I think traffic stops are like 90 days.
There's
that
certain
always-
things have
Retention
a
schedule.
certain retention policy that you have to keep them for so long. Of course, criminal acts have to be kept longer than tickets do.
They got like fatalities that are on there
Fatalities
forever.
have to be kept a lot longer than that.
Some things are hot storage or cold storage, meaning you don't need to access it all the time, so it goes into cold storage. Is that a differentiator in this line?
I haven't heard about it.
It all just depends on how long it has to be stored. So we have to pay for that storage.
Okay.
And then the newspaper, get that. Another X-ray machine, we have to pay for that. State of Nebraska, we're on the state radio system, so we have to pay $6.59 a month for that.
Where's the other X-ray machine?
Yeah, why are there two different
So
companies?
because there's the X-ray machine, both of them are in the Justice Center lobby. One of them is the belt one where we put equipment through and everything, and the other one is what the people walk through.
Okay.
So they're not from the same company.
That's a yearly fee.
One that we get like two, I think one's a subscription, the other one's maintenance. Then Mock and Tracks is our citation and GPS system that we use. That's a yearly. Time Clock Plus is our schedule software. TransUnion is our license plate readers subscription. That's $1,600 a month. Union Bank, that one we had to pay to serve somebody, so that's why they charge us. Uribi should not be in here. I don't know why it was charged under this year. That should be utility because it's trash. And then Visa subscriptions. I think it was our Adobe and then Amazon Business.
When do you pay for your Adobe? When does that renew?
Hey,
We already did it, but I think it was last fiscal year.
Here's the reason I'm asking because it's about $5 per month per user less to have like just one business account from the county where we would issue licenses versus everybody just having their own. So
Because we only have one, and only two people use it at once.
you just have one subscription.
Yeah.
Okay. So can you just tell me when? Just go back and look and tell me when you renew, just for my.
Yeah, I think we've already good for this year.
So where
But
were
you'll have to renew in this year if, like, let's say you did at the end of last fiscal year, you'll have to still do it this year. I just want to make sure that we're budgeting enough for all that. That's all.
where were these line items before? Like, where were they in the budget? Like, they just started a cost recently? I understand. Where were you accounting for that before?
A lot of these came out of our drug fund,
Okay.
so that's why last year we had a budget a little more.
Okay, so the actual expenditures, including some of those one-time things that were on here, was 105. It looks like 105. Well, what your list says 105. 805. It looks like actual expenditures were
Like
107. You're asking for 115. Does anybody have anything else penciled in? I kept it sort of flat. I had 108, but I rounded up. Anybody else?
107.
Do you get a discount if you do a 3-year term on the Axon taser subscription? Like if you say, hey, we'll do 3
Sometimes they
years
do.
versus a 1 year, would it be a better deal?
Scott, where are you
The
at?
problem with
107 or
the
108?
I can
tasers
go either way.
is they've gotten like Motorola and everybody else. We get notification that we no longer sell batteries for those tasers. You got to buy new tasers. That's what we've run into with them. It seems like every 3 to 5 years they'll tell you we're no longer replacing the batteries. You'll have to upgrade to the next new taser. And pardon me,
Are there any other vendors for those tasers?
sir, I don't know really. I don't know.
Brad's back there shaking his head. I don't know. These are kind of the only game in town.
Okay.
So on line 22, what did you say to go?
They said 107, Mike.
Again, the data storage costs, that just seems.
It's a lot. We're paying like, I'll show you in the
I don't
claims.
understand why we're not being more competitive with.
We are going to have that conversation. You're going to have that conversation with Tom.
Okay.
Okay. We're lining it up. You tell me the date and time. Okay. Printing and publishing. It looks, I know why we have to have that, but it looks like we haven't really used very much of it. Is there something that you're expecting, or can we take that down a little bit too?
So that one's hard because we never know when we have to do a sheriff
Mhm.
sale.
Yep.
And per law, they have to like advertise it so many times in the paper and other places before they can actually sell it. And putting stuff in the paper is not cheap.
Now that's pretty much the only time we use that is when we have a sheriff's sale or something.
Or when we do mini grants, they require you to do media stuff. So we have to put stuff in the paper saying, hey, we're doing a grant during this time.
But you can't advertise digitally on Facebook for free.
There's a Facebook one, but then you have to do like local media, like
I don't
Sometimes by state statute, you have to print stuff in a public newspaper.
because not everybody has Facebook, I guess.
It's the public newspaper record. Fine, January.
I did see that. I wondered.
That's where you post all of your legal things.
Um,
We cut it down from 600 to 300 just to be safe in case we have to have a
Why-
sheriff sale.
on what are Christmas cards? Because it says you're paying for Christmas. It was like
We
$17.
we just did a committee thing, just sent like 10 Christmas cards to
Okay.
different, like it's nothing that we need to do. It's just,
But can we drop that to like $75? And then if you do have to have a sale, there should be some overages in some other budget areas. But I mean, last year you spent $17. It sounds like on Christmas cards.
For one sheriff sale, anywhere between $80 and $100.
So what I'm saying is that if you do have to advertise for one, you should be able to make up that $80 to $100 in another line item if you had to. But in the last few budget years, there hasn't been anything. And $17 last year was spent on Christmas cards. So the previous year, there was nothing that was spent.
Anybody else?
So what we decide on?
Yeah, I don't want to fight over pennies. Just put it in 100.
Okay, uncollectible fees. Does anybody have anything there?
I don't know what that means.
Blair or Lisa or Mike, somebody.
Thank you for being
So
patient with
this-
the new guy.
Yeah, this all has to do with civil process. That's one of our statutory duties, is that we have to serve civil process papers, right? So this has to do with like the fees in relation to serving the papers, returning the papers to the courts, plus mileage fees that we accrue for serving the paper. And there's no way of knowing how many papers we're gonna serve. And this also goes into the service of arrest warrants, things like that. So mileage once again to transport somebody who was arrested on our warrant, like those are all fees that are assessed with that. There's no way of planning for how many fees we'll have throughout the year, but so this is obviously playing it on the safe side that we're gonna have.
So in looking at the history, if you see, you can see that they spent 3,700 last year. The year before that, they spent 3,600. Year before that, they spent 3,900. So
So 4,000.
they spent 4,000 the year before, and we budgeted 4,000 last year.
I'm saying 4,000 still seems reasonable.
Oh, you're saying 4,000. I'm sorry, I wasn't following. Okay. Anybody else?
I agree with that. That's what I had.
Training. I know that there was a list there. Go back to this other one. Looks like you just kept it flat with what was budgeted last year. So on page 71, do you see all that, Jonathan, slash, would you like them to explain what those are for you?
I apologize. I was on the wrong page.
That's okay.
Reed and Associates. What's that?
That's
It's an interview and interrogation school.
Oh, that'd be fun to take, actually.
Okay. So we paid 680 for that last year. Are we paying for that this year? Okay. And that's fine. And then risk management. If you just walk through these for Jonathan.
Sure. Yeah, the law enforcement risk management is basically just minimizing risk. I went to that on here. Super useful. So together and the personnel that choose to go down. I don't know if we do anything this year or not, but then NLBTC. So that's for if we have sent any of our guys to the law enforcement training center to like for recertification, like all of our instructors, they have to recert every so often, or sometimes there'll be classes where we have to send them to NLETC for certifications or recertification. So
Are we planning on any of those this year? I'm guessing.
They, the supervisor school and management school that it's mandatory that they go to at NLETC. There will be at least one person going to management school this year.
That's what you went to last year, right? The risk management one?
No, that was Toyota.
Okay. So there'll be one going to that. Okay.
PPCT is management is the same.
Wait, let's go back. So what you went to last year, are you going to the same thing this year? You will not be going to that this year. Okay. But then on the other one, the NLETC, we're having at least one going to some sort of supervisor training, right? Okay.
And then your firearms instructors, like she said, we have two. One of them recertified this past year, correct? The other one will have to recertify this year.
Okay.
And your
We could use the current drone that we have grandfathered in, but if anything breaks on it, can't use federal money to fix, repair. We can replace it with federal money with NDAA compliance, UAS system, but those started.
So question now, what I'm trying, and I want you to keep explaining, please. I'm sorry, we're just kind of cutting in on what each of these are, both of you. But I just am trying to figure out, so we're asking for $6,000 for this line. We spent 3,500 last year. We're saying we're not going to be setting, this isn't related to drone repair. I want to be clear on that. This is just training. So let's talk about those last two. Finish and tell us what those are, and then let's talk about what we'll actually use for this year.
So PPCT management, those are just for the certificates. Like they have to have certificates for their file.
they have to redo that every year.
Okay.
Taser training, those are certs too, but I think that was before this.
Okay, so we're So for this year, we're not going to be doing the investigator training. That was $680 last year. We're not probably doing the risk management training. That was $450 last year. How much was drone training versus taser training? Because I know you guys have to do taser training. It sounds like, are we doing drone training again this year or no? No more drone training. But there is taser training or no? Melvie,
There
you're
is
shaking your head.
taser training. They have
Yes.
to recertify every year.
Okay.
They get to pay for the paper.
How much do you think drone training was last year?
Drone training? Or is it taser?
Either. You can give me either one.
Drone? Okay, they were-
I understand Concordia is doing a grant for drone training and classes. There's a way to partner with Concordia to do it pro bono.
Doesn't sound like we're doing training this year on it.
Uh,
But in the future,
I'm
wait.
just throwing out ideas.
I believe
Community work.
taser training is more expensive because drone was just like an online class, but taser you have to.
So out of the $1,300, how much do you think was for drone training? Just give me an idea. Okay. And then last year we had Ernst went to NLTC, Becker and Bailey went to NLTC, and then we had the certifications. So I'm assuming that will probably be similar this year, right? We'll be sending about 3 people, and then the certifications, we talked about that, right? So that, what else? Because when we do the math on that,
1,500.
That's like $1,500, 2,000.
well, it's like $1,900. Because if we, like 1,900.
1,900.
What else were you planning to do for the training?
I know this year already one person paid for the interdiction conference. So that would be in there. Yeah, if they agree to that.
What's the cost of that?
It's like 509.
$500-ish.
Yeah, including travel and stuff.
So what's,
There'd be 3 going.
So then one would be
So
paid for by county funds.
Right.
And is this an out of state? I'm assuming this is out of state.
To Oklahoma City.
Yeah, I've told other departments that there will not be out of state travel this year. Scott, will you turn on that fan, please?
it's okay, I'll just,
Bundle up more.
it is fan worse today.
Thank you.
What's the cost of the travel, did we say? Not the conference, the travel part. So you already bought tickets then, right? What's the cost of those? And then 500 for the conference?
So that's it. It's a process of things, 509.
Oh, so the total with the travel and everything is 509.
That's just the registration.
So then 495 on top of that.
With the hotel and for the
Right, so you've already bought that.
hotel.
Are you flying or driving? Okay, that's where I was getting at that. Okay. How many nights is it? So that's probably $800 in hotel. And then what would be per diem?
Probably $60 a day.
So 4 days. $240. So that's $1,040 for that conference. And then $1,892 for the other training that we were talking about, but that's still not 6,000. Somebody was using my old calculator.
I have 4,000. It's a gift. I had to buy the most obnoxious one so it would stop getting stolen, but it's horrible.
I've never seen anything like it.
It's ridiculous.
All right, the total is 2932 is what with
Like
what they
candy.
have already done and what they had planned for, just so that you guys know. So 3,000. That's what the conference that Blake just talked about and kind of what they're planning on sending people to.
So
So
3,000.
3,000. That's what they're asking. Is there something else? Okay. So that's where we're at then? Okay. Animal control costs. I don't either. Anybody else? Okay. Do you understand that? I'm sure you do. Okay. Just want to make sure. All right.
I had 3,000.
Same.
So why do you have Nebraska Public Health for a blood draw, but the Memorial Healthcare is, why isn't it all together?
The healthcare one was new hires, I believe. We had to do their whatever, and then the other one is like DUI blood good.
So the total for what you guys paid last year was 2,900, and you're asking for 1,100 more this year. What's the expected increase?
Sorry, what was
One. It was a one-time expense.
So which one? Sorry, I didn't hear.
Woods,
FLS.
Oh yeah, that was for Blake's hire study. HR.
He's just saying we probably
Yeah,
wouldn't do
that's
that
it.
again this year, right? Okay. All right. So we have shipping and business cards. We have shooting range supplies, Summit Fire. You understand Summit Fire?
I don't know what Summit Fire is.
They come twice a year to check our fire stuff down
Oh.
at the other Melbourne
Okay.
location.
Check all the,
Like twice a year.
that's just at the compound?
Yeah, because I think Eric or somebody does.
Okay.
Why can't we do that ourselves? It's just checking the extinguishers and stuff to make sure that.
And the
And it's
alarm.
more of
the
a
alarms.
liability.
There's a requirement that it has to be done by a certified inspector, whether you're not gonna be able to walk up and say, oh,
Yeah.
that looks good to me.
Okay.
I have some do my building and it's around 3 something. The
So if
buildings
we're
are
not having
a little bigger.
a study. So without the cost of that study, it looks like the total would have been about it's $2,113. They're asking for 4,000 this year. Things do happen. Miscellaneous is there sort of for that.
I had
3,000?
That's what we budgeted last year was 3,000. So I would be okay with that.
Okay.
You guys,
Good. That's good.
okay. 3,000. Yep. Okay. Supplies.
I had 4,500.
That's what I have as well.
as well. That's just keeping it flat.
So-
45 on supplies, only because it keeps it flat. No increase, no decrease, basically.
Okay. Equipment and fuel.
Mm,
I know this is like a game, but last year we budgeted 85, we spent 59, and this year you're asking for 100, and I get why you're asking for 100 because we don't know what the fuel costs are going to be. But let's talk about that.
Well, obviously, as you said, cost increase with fuel. We've asked some of our individuals who live outside of the county, help put gas in their, vehicles, like they'll do half, with the sheriff's office credit card and the other half with their own money, since they have the added, take home vehicle and they live outside of the county. I know I have helped save money. I put, I paid for fuel in my own vehicle, my own pocket to help save last year.
A lot of my staff did that because we wanted to make budget. 'Cause we were told we couldn't make budget. Several members of my staff paid for one tank a week out of their own pocket in the patrol cars, including Lisa, Blake.
That that is not something we should be doing. I do not support that. That is not something that should come out of your pocket.
I didn't want them to do it either, but they did it because they wanted.
Why
us
are
to
you
do
going like this?
Well, I think we kind of really didn't have a whole lot of choice.
Well, you had 85,000 budgeted and you spent 60,000, so that tells me you did have a choice. So I'm frustrated with that because
What we did is, that wasn't the only thing we did.
okay,
We also had guys working on the road, mandatory check the cars off, and other times where it wouldn't.
sure.
We didn't actually put mile limits on, but we kind of did.
Okay.
So there was a lot that we made to that fuel reduction.
And I get that. I went through the gas crunch back in the mid-70s. My captain used to call it a CMP. We sent out, it was called a constant monitoring position. You sit there until something happened and then you went. So I understand what you're doing and why you're doing it. I guess I look at this fuel thing and I say, would you allow your guys to go out and buy their own ammunition as opposed to taking the county ammunition? We need to keep this in-house. If we're doing county work, we should be burning county fuel. That's the message I want. Appreciate what they did. We would appreciate maybe the reasoning why, but frankly, it's not a good business decision. It's not something we should do.
How many people were I'm just mathing here. How many do you think were, so you said one tank per week they're paying out of their own pocket. How many people would you say?
Probably 7 or 8 total.
Okay. And tank of gas, we'll just say 50 bucks, 55 bucks. Okay, I'll just make it 55. And then, so that's about, it's 22,880. And I had written 85, which is what it was last year. But if we were to add what we spent last year, that would be a little bit more. 85 would be a little bit more. What do you guys think? Think that's okay? Okay. Aren't there? So I think 85 is doable then. Please don't do that. Again, I will echo what he said. Thank you for wanting to try to save, but that is not our intention. We don't want to take money from your pockets. So,
Aren't there funds also in the 2411 account? Or there's 2412 and 2414.
there's like
Yeah.
6,000 something in 24,
No, that's
12.
treasury. That's do not spend.
Yeah, there was. I have that total.
Ended up on 43,000.
Thank you. And it was 40
So
something.
can't some of that fuel come out of that?
If they needed additional fuel, you mean, or you're saying you want to make it less than 85?
Well, I'm saying make it less than 80. At the end of the day, we have, when we're looking at the budget as a whole, my understanding going into the budget meeting was that we have over $1 million still left to cut.
That's true.
Well, we're not near that. So
2 million. 2 million.
Okay, $2.3 million. So if there are funds that are available and can be used per the guide, I think we should decrease the fuel amount and utilize some of those funds. Can that be done?
Fuel isn't along those guys, you know?
Yes.
There's a idea on the table.
I like her reasoning.
'Kay.
I mean, I don't know the statutes and all those things yet, so.
It said it's allowable. I believe from my understanding it's allowable as well.
What's the amount that you propose specifically to take out of the gas or the gas of out of that line?
Well, I would say if it was me sticking at the 60,000 from our budget, and if you're proposing 80, so then taking $20,000, or are you at 85?
I said 85.
So then what, that 25
Out of difference, yep.
But you have to understand, you don't want to get set where you're budgeting out of that asset forfeiture. Because once that's spent, you don't know when the next drop is coming.
I mean, we haven't gotten a drop. I mean, my understanding is we haven't gotten anything at all since last year, 2025. Have we gotten anything? I understand. I'm not saying. My understanding is that the intention is to enhance the sheriff's department's budget. You don't want to necessarily budget for it, but what else are you planning on using those funds for? I mean, because we're at the end of the day, according to the budget sheets that I have, your department's asking for a 20% increase in your overall budget. That's not including wages. So that we can't, there's no way that we can do that. Last year we increased the budget by, I believe, 34%. So, I mean,
Thoughts? Is that something you think you can do?
Yes, I've got a question. And just really a question. It's not, like, we definitely like, I mean, just look. 5, 4, 3, 2. So, with, like I said, this is not going to be a very popular question, especially because I don't want somebody to tell me. But on the other hand, when we're talking about dollars, the county has to spend, those are dollars that we're investing in the county. I don't want it to come down to the fact that you have to live in the county court. But on the other hand, dollars. We're scratching it every time. I don't know. When we talk about $100,000 over the $60,000 spent, $40,000 increase in fuel, I can't justify that. I can't. That's a lot of money just for fuel. I know fuel's went up, it's come down, it's back up, it's come down. I can't get behind anything over 80,000.
Okay, just to clarify, are you suggesting budgeting for that or are you going?
I'm suggesting.
Okay, thank you.
And as far as taking up the extra,
We are allowed to supplement our budget with 2414. You just can't augment it.
right.
Right. And if it goes,
I need to find it. We live outside the county department of car compound. I know you've got at least one or maybe two guys that know one particular. You're on back to the inventory. clear up. But to me, that solves the problem, just putting gas in the car on their own nickel. And it keeps everything here. So I would be going fine with that. So I can get behind it.
That's fine. If it's more, we'll pick up slack.
So my question for you, and there we are already talking unpopular opinions here. I'm curious what the cost is, like how many miles it is for all 6 of those, and what we're actually spending in fuel.
Well, 2 of them are in the car here.
So 2 of the 6. So there's really 4.
4,
For the 4 people. So we're paying $7,000 in fuel for them to drive to and from work.
That's how we came up with it. Drive it home when you're out of town. And so, we're all fine. That's what they
Okay. Are you tracking that?
But why can't we use the money in the other account?
You can.
So why do you want to keep it in the budget again?
I'm going through the, we already said,
Well, no, we put the 2 vests that they need in there and said if you need the 3rd vest, which they wanted an extra, to take it out of there. So that's $1,200. $1,600.
So you're at 60, you're at 80. We were at 85. Is there a way to meet in the middle on that?
Well, I like Reagan's idea of supplementing it some from the other account.
Can we meet in the middle?
I can.
Is that something you guys could do? So it would be 70, not 80 or 85.
just go to 75 to be safe.
You're no
I'm okay.
75. Okay. Let's move on. Okay. Grease and oil. We have anything there?
I have a question. Are you guys taking vehicles in to have the oil changed?
We've been doing it ourselves.
Are you keeping records of that?
Yes.
So there's records every time that there's an oil change that matches that? Okay.
Through Zerker, and we put a sticker inside the window, but we're not going to do that anymore. That's
I'm glad to hear that. I have a little bit of liability problem with that. Should there be some kind of accident, whatever.
well,
Doing that kind of work. And I appreciate what's being done. But I'm far and away more comfortable with taking it to a shop and giving a shop to do it.
well, what we want to do, and we've already discussed it, is we're going to each business in the county, and we're going to tell them this is what we want done to the cars. We want not just an oil change. We want the tires checked, tires rotated, the filters checked, and see which one of them gives us the best price. As you know before, some of them were charging us $130, some of them charged us $90. I think if you, it's kind of like putting it out for bid, letting them all know this is what we need. What can you give us this service for? And that's what we decide to do.
I was just with that, schedule it.
Right.
Most guys are gonna have a schedule, get something now, or in a day or so. Might not be able to do it, so.
Right. Because there are some places that you gotta, just to get an oil change, well, it'll be 2 weeks.
I just made that appointment for my own, mine's finally coming up this week.
Okay. Where are we at with grease and oil? So the last couple of years we spent right around the same, which was 2,900. We budgeted 5,000 each year. So
Just keep it at 3.
that's a
They're taking them into having this done. I had 4,000 bucks for office. You're gonna incur some more expense by having a
Okay.
shop to it.
Okay.
I think 4,000 is. It's just.
What'd you have?
We try, we tell me, we try.
Okay. So we're gonna try 4,000. Is that what I'm hearing? Okay. Tires and tire repair.
Can we include some of this with the previous item? We were talking about equipment repair,
The other equipment, yeah.
other equipment. There's one item,
Yes.
Put down your mentioned tires in your explanation. So is this a duplicate type entry here or not?
I would guess that some of it will duplicate.
That was on there.
Blair doesn't code tires and other equipment here, so,
Strictly only.
cause it's, yeah, so tires.
Tires are on state bid. They're on state bid.
Okay. So that is something that we can get a price on.
Right,
We just have to take it to a shop and pound it down.
right.
Normally, they're what, shipping into that shop?
No, actually, almost every place in town, not every place, but almost every place in town, even co-op, can get tires off the state bid, but they can't charge us no more than what the state bid says. Each shop has their own fee for mounting a balance up, which is one of the things we want to include when we talk to them about the oil changes is just because it's state bid tires doesn't mean you charge us $20 a tire to mount it.
And these guys are getting good speed rated tires too.
Right. Right, they have to be the speed rated tires that the state bid received.
Okay, so it looks like expenditures in the past were 4,700, 4,500, and then 6,700, and now we're asking for 10 again. So where are we at with that?
I have 8 as well.
That's fine.
I just figured 8 cars, $1,000 a pop. That's about what I'm.
It better not be because we changed the battery. Can you hear him? Dead. And we are out of batteries.
You took my battery already.
Oh, I did. We have no more batteries,
We
sorry.
can switch
I'll
this,
talk louder, how's that?
We can use that one. Let's use that one.
we can switch this one back and forth.
Thanks, Lisa.
Later on.
Thank you.
Okay. Next line is office equipment rental. So there's the copiers, propane tank, paper tiger, trash. Didn't I see that somewhere else?
They took it out. Blair said it wasn't supposed to be in
Oh, okay.
what it was.
They asked for 7, I have 6.
There was a chart for visual edge, but you said that you're no longer using it. So that's $194 that could be removed.
So that's about 6,000. You guys okay with 6? Okay. All right. We'll drop down to line 44, which is machinery and equipment. So I show Bizco, you're requesting 45,000, or last year you spent 46,000. You purchased a laptop and EBO outfit 2 Tahoes for the road and art, and you spent 70,000. This year you're requesting 307,886. In the request sheet that we got, it says you're looking for 155,000 for new body cameras and car cameras and 35,000 for generator hookup.
So we can take the generator.
The generator's taken out of that. I think it was after that was taken out, it was 200.
Okay, well, the difference between, so that being said, so the line item says 307,886 is your request. If we took 35,000 out, that's 272, and then you're asking for body cameras at 155. We're missing 118,000. What's the remaining request for?
2 vehicles.
There should be 2, but
I just have one.
There's
I
one.
have one.
I have another question. It says body cameras are currently out of warranty and are no longer in production. Does that make them not functional?
Yes,
Some of them are
yeah,
functional.
some of them are, about half of my staff's body cameras don't work.
So is this something where we could split this in some way? I'm gonna make a copy of this one too.
Do you have one?
I don't have it. But I probably
You're asking for 2 cars. What are you looking to buy?
Durangos,
Okay,
they're the cheapest. Well, I ain't gonna say the cheapest. They're cheaper than, there's one cheaper that nobody wants
because you're putting transmissions in them left and right. And while everybody likes the Tahoes, they're far and away too expensive.
I'm like the copy world today. I'm new challenge. Here, Larry, here's one. Thank you. Might as well have been vacuuming though, because I'm telling you,
That sounds like a
sounds like a Kirby vacuum. I won't. Okay. So your new request then is 153,886, correct? Not the 307. So you're asking for these and these. Okay. So
Are we on the radios and body cameras or on the cars?
both technically. Yeah. So the request in the budget was 307,886.
And we took that down to 250 something.
268,886. No. Because if you took 115, oh, I see what you guys are doing here. The total, there's 2 separate totals. So is it added together?
Yeah.
I showed 268,886 minus the 35,000. Is that right? Based on what's on here. Oh, I think I did 115.155. If you take out the
Right, so we took out the 35 for the generator.
308,886.
Right, that's 1.5, and then with the Durangos and all, you know, firearms, it's really,
Didn't we just buy firearms? Didn't we just buy them?
I
I
thought
swear we did.
those 47s aren't in. I thought they were here.
No, they were ordered when you told us to order them.
Yeah, that's been months ago.
We
But
still
yeah,
haven't got them. The reason I have one, I bought one personally myself.
that's why I thought everybody had them, as I saw yours.
Yeah, I bought mine personally. To get used to using the optics.
'Cause I know that the holsters are already in for those.
Yeah, the holsters are already in for those, and the flashlights are already in for those.
So I guess just to ask the question, and again, it's probably the unpopular question. I know that you've been carrying 17s, and I think you had 2 that you were having some difficulties with, if I remember the story right. This is kind of, in my view, like throwing the baby out with the bathwater. You've got 18 other weapons that are working just fine, but you've got 2 that aren't. I've been around blocks for a long time. They're pretty easy to service and repair. Couldn't those 2 have been sent in and, in a sense, rebuilt, and couldn't we have saved some money?
I'm sure what you're well aware of it. With the price of Glocks, having one rebuilt, not much more expensive.
All right, and I've never had one rebuilt. That's why I'm asking the question.
Yeah,
And I've never had to have one rebuilt.
because of the years in service with those clocks and with everybody going to the optics, we decided to buy new weapons.
I remember the discussion. Again, I'm just asking the question.
And with the deal we got a very good deal on. Price went way down. I think it was only around 20,000 for all of them.
Are they back ordered then? Is that the problem?
No, they should be delivered pretty soon.
Okay, so they're asking for two Durangos, $43,820 each. They're asking to outfit the vehicles. That's another $26,345 each. They're asking for $2,000 in decals. They're asking for I'm showing that 11,556. Then they're also asking for body cams at 155,000. So where are we at?
Body cams and in-car.
Yeah. Thank you.
The reason we
Can the
wanted to do
in-car cameras not be reused?
It's watch guard, right? It's
Watch
all
guard.
the same.
Yeah, watch guard has gone away.
Our body cams are synced to our in-car
Right.
videos.
and
sorry.
to outright buy them to replace all of it. $600 some thousand. And we met with the people, discussed them, and a couple other agencies are going. With the lease program, when you lease them, then every 2 or 3 years, they automatically replace that equipment. So you don't have to worry about 5 years down the road buying all the equipment again. It's a lot better, more economic to lease it than it is to just outright buy all the equipment like they did the last time. And then all of it starts tearing up, and you gotta go buy all the equipment again. Well over 600,000 to buy it all.
Just another question on those cars for a second. Are we gonna be able to use the state program for those cars? Or I know you've had to go out, I think you've been as far as Indiana to pick up cars,
No, these are
state bid cars.
state bid cars from Omaha or Lincoln.
Okay,
Gene Steppe, where they come.
okay.
We we have approved no equipment for our roads department this year. I'd just like to throw that out there while we're looking at 300 and some thousand dollars for sheriff's department equipment, which I understand some of these things are definitely necessary, but there is $62,000 in your sinking fund, and this we don't have the dollars to do it. We just cannot do it. So I am looking at you, asking you where we can make cuts on this specific line. So are there things that we can, do we buy less body cams and dash cams? Do we buy one Durango? Well, we can't do anything about the firearms. Help me out here.
Well, we can't cut a car out of it because last year we didn't buy any cars. And like the one I'm driving right now has 174,000 miles on it.
Didn't we bring back the car from Saline County?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's kind of a newer car.
It had 88,000 on it when I did the inventory. I don't know what it has now. What are we looking at for mileage on some of these, I'll say road units? I know why you have the one that you have, and I know what transpired with all of that. But looking at just the run of the mill cars that are out there running around with the deputies, we got the bulk of them over 100,000. We got a bunch of them that are 60 to 100. Where are we at in the grand scheme of things with that?
We've got the bulk of them are probably around 80, 70 to 80. Those last 2 Tahoes we bought we put those out on the road. Those have less miles on them, of course. The Captain Melby he keeps up with their mileage. He can probably give you a more accurate on.
I was just curious as to the real need in the sense of how many of these are out there on the very edge of starting to really cost you a lot of money. Yes, maintenance is expensive. I get that. But how many of these are out on the edge where you think you're going to wind up, in a sense, rebuilding the car? And I'm talking like taking it up with brakes, struts, uh, AC compressors, and maybe even throwing in a transmission. And I mean, back in the day, I remember a lot of agencies repurposing the old Crown Vics that way, just because you couldn't find those cars. So you rebuilt them, even put new seats in them. But I don't want to take you down that path. I don't even think there's a market for that anymore. But, do we have just one or two that are out there on that edge that might be able to make the cut for another year? Come on up front, Brad.
There is still somewhat a market for reconditioned police cars. As you know, a few years ago, we went down that route, and all four of those cars we bought out of Missouri, the reconditioned cars, cost us a fortune because we had to replace a transmission, 3 out of the 4.
Mhm.
And you know, he can tell you more about how many are up there in miles because he keeps track of that every day.
Okay, so here's the thing. We can go round and round and talk about this all day long. You're asking for $230,000 more in equipment this year than last year. Here's where I'm at. No, we can't afford it. There has to be some negotiation. I asked you point blank, where can you come in? Where can we make negotiation? That's what I'm interested in right now. Lisa, you maybe were talking about some ideas.
Okay, so the body cameras and the car cameras stay. So then what goes? We can't. We cannot do it, Mike. Like I don't know how. What other words we can say? It's not going to work. You're gonna have to cut. I understand, but you asked for a 20% increase above wages. That's not including wages. It's not going to work. And even after today, then we're going to have to go through after we've made all of the cuts from all of the departments today and look at everything again and come back in and likely do more cuts. Because we cannot do what is being asked. So that's what we're asking you. What can you go without?
Sheriff Department
Mike, so let's talk about that. I looked back because I was just kind of curious. I saw increases. There are years where different departments have different increases. My first year on the board, the sheriff's department's budget was 1.175. So it was almost 1.2 million. The request for this year, what's the request for this year? The requested budget for this year?
2.8.
That's more than double. I'm asking for some, you have to work with us. Yeah, you can say no and you can say you've made cuts and I appreciate those cuts. But when I tell you that by law we cannot, we are coming to you official to official. I'm telling you, we can't. So we have to find places to make it work. And to Reagan's point, I promise you, we're going back to everybody and we're going to have to make more cuts because literally by law, we cannot. You know that when we started this year, we started kind of in the hole. That's not your fault and that's not our fault. It just happened. So we're just in a bad space and we can sit here and we can go round and round and round, or we can think about it. We're going to do a call back anyways, and we can bring some ideas back to the table. What do you think about that? We're going to do a call back anyways. So we can think about it and we can bring it back at the call back to discuss again, the equipment line.
I understand, and I totally understand what you're saying.
Yep.
But you have to understand that with without patrol cars, there's no patrolling.
I understand that, Mike, but I also understand that we've absorbed a lot of costs that are not patrol and are not sheriff specifically, like Seward County law enforcement specific. There are other costs that we have absorbed and incurred. And I realize that that's probably not going to be forever, but it's the reality today. And looking at that budget, it was shocking to see how much it had grown. Last year we added 600,000. This year you're requesting that we add 680,000. That's 1.2 million over 1 year, from 1 year to the next. It's just we can't do it.
Last year you added 4.
I'm sorry, you're right. So we're at about a million, not 1.2. Yes. Or
Yes.
I whatever math it was like 1,100,000 and something. I round up. Sorry.
And I understand what you're saying as far as, however, we want to make sure that we pay our people, where it is, have service. I gotta ask people, what service do you like? Because I don't want to get sure. I don't want to get funds. But something, we just, we gotta do something. And I can see $140,000 in that. It's not the place that should be. I don't know if it should be, but I sure hope so. But right now, we're up against a lot more. We're trying to figure out what we're gonna do. And it's nothing against you guys, but like he said, that your budget is wrong. I guess to Misty's point, I would suggest we're gonna do a callback with this. Come back with some car options. Tell me what's your fleet like. Come in here with some hard data as to where you're at with cars. And I'm not saying I can give you cars, but I'm just saying make the case. And right now you haven't made the case really. I'm hearing a lot of stuff in the sense of this, that, and the other, but I haven't seen any hard data as to where we're at with your total fleet. I mean, again, I hate to keep going back in my day, but I used to share cars with people. Not everybody had a car that they drove home. And I got stripes, I got my own car, but until I got stripes, I shared with a guy. We parked the car at the office and you drove to work and you picked up your unit and you went to work. Maybe that's a way to get by in the short term with some of these if you want to use up some of your lower mileage cars. Just, I'm throwing that out as just a thought. But you all sit back and talk about it, and when we do the call back, come back with something. I don't know what it'll be, but give it some thought.
But I think you already know. I just want everybody to understand that it's been over a year and a half since we bought a car.
Oh yeah.
And some of these cars, to me, some maintenance doesn't bother me. But when it starts getting the big items like transmissions and what they charge to put in a water pump now is ridiculous. Then I start getting worried about the car.
But we also budgeted a significant amount for repairs too. So again, maybe the idea is you come back with one car, or you look at your sinking fund and what you can pay for out of your sinking fund. I think we just need some time to think about that, and we'll bring that one back around.
I just want you to understand that as far as me personally, none of this budget's going to affect me.
I
I'm
know
worried
that.
about the next sheriff and the services given to the citizens. Because
But I think that's what we're saying. We are worried about the services that are given to the citizens. And to Scott's point, at a certain point, it's going to be, what are we going to have to cut? Naturally, the cost of doing business is just more for everything. It doesn't matter what it is, gas, food, whatever. It's just more. But also what's happening is we're literally taxing people out of their home. We're losing residents because they can't afford to live here anymore because we continue to tax them. And right now, even just to stay under the cap, we would have to raise the levy, which is crazy because we spent the last 3 years lowering the levy. So, okay, we did some work there and we lowered it, but with valuations rising and everything else, it's a team effort. And when I say we've absorbed a lot of costs, we've absorbed a lot of cost. But there comes a point, and this is our point, unfortunately, this year, where we have to stop. So I hear you. I hear your concern about the vehicles, but I'm just asking you to let's just all take a moment, think about it, and we can come back to the table on that one. Is that okay? Okay. There are a couple other lines I'd like to get through if it's okay.
Sure, I thought we were done.
No, not yet. The next one after equipment was radio equipment specifically. And so you had mentioned something earlier, Blair, about depending on radios or something like that. So can you walk us through this one real quick?
Yeah, so in that body camera, car camera, body camera, like, so with that, I guess, so we get that,
So let's circle back on that one then. We'll just pause on that line. And then on the, yeah.
Can you say that again?
Oh, sorry. I forgot. We're supposed to do this.
with the new body cameras and stuff, it's all one thing, so it's with the radio because it's Motorola. So the mic for the radio is actually a body camera, so it's all together. So if we're able to get that, we won't need to do all the radio repairs and equipment because we'll have all new stuff, so we won't need.
Okay. And no, it's okay. And then the last one is just the, there's so many pages.
I'm gonna ask you about your service dogs.
That's the last one.
You don't have near the number
I
of
know.
dogs you used to have. Where are you at with dogs right now? 3?
Are they all active, working?
You're asking for 25 and we only spent 15 last year. That 15, was that with the same 3 dogs or did we have more dogs than that? I guess I'm looking at, I penciled in 1,500 on that item, but I'm open to discussion.
I have a question about the office equipment. It needs one. It needs one of those sheets. So I don't know what you're planning to spend that on, but the same thing with the equipment request. It just needs the office equipment request. So just bring it back for next time. Okay. Okay. Are there any other questions on this one?
Oh.
Okay. Thank you so much for your, it's going to be it'll be a couple weeks for the callback, just so you know. It won't be next week. It'll be a couple weeks. But thank you. I appreciate you, Mike. I appreciate coming to the table today, and we'll see what we can do. Okay, go back to our untimed agenda items. Last one is the agenda for next Tuesday.
We have the mini excavator lease again. I don't know if it's gonna be on or not, because it was supposed to be on today and had to be taken off, so I assume that they're waiting.
Is Barb going back to them? Is that what's happening?
I have no idea. We have that at 9, and then Christine had asked if we could start the meeting at 8:30, and then have that at 9, and then we'll probably have a meeting on Tuesday.
We will have an executive session at 9:30.
For personnel,
Nope, it's pending litigation.
pending litigation.
Yep. Okay, anything else from anyone? Then we need a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn the Board of Commissioners meeting of August 11, 2026 at 3:45 p.m.
Please call a roll.
Rafi,
Yes.
Eric, Klein,
Yes.
Curtis,
Yes.
Yes, that's 540. Post adjourning the meeting at 3:45 p.m. Thank you.